This story is going to melt your heart. It's about a man who found an abandoned cat in his garage and couldn't believe how much it changed over time. When Mark first saw the cat, he had no idea just how much of an impact it would have on his life. He was just doing a simple chore, cleaning out his garage, when he heard a noise that stopped him in his tracks. It was coming from behind some boxes in the corner where he found a tiny kitten mewing quietly. The little thing looked up at him with big green eyes, hoping to be noticed. But the moment Mark tried to get closer, the kitten ran away, hiding further into the dark, dusty area. It was clear that the kitten had been there for a while. Its fur was matted and dirty, and it looked like it hadn't had a decent meal in days. Still, Mark didn't want to scare it away, so instead of making any sudden moves, he sat down right where he was and started talking to it in a soft voice. Slowly but surely, he began to gain the kitten's trust. And once it felt comfortable enough, Mark gently scooped it up and cradled it in his hands. The feeling was indescribable. The little cat purred loudly, nuzzling its head against Mark's fingers. At that moment, Mark knew he had to take care of this animal. He brought the kitten inside his house, gave it water and food, and then let it play around to see how active it was. All these interactions showed that the kitten was friendly and affectionate, something that filled Mark with joy. And so he decided to name the cat Patches. Because of its unique fur pattern, days went by and Patches got bigger and stronger, but it still wasn't ready to be adopted. Its fur was too long and matted, so Mark took it to a nearby pet store to get a makeover. When they were done, Patches looked like a completely different creature. Mark couldn't believe how beautiful his cat was and how much more affectionate it became now that it was clean and well-groomed. Finally, the day arrived when Patches was ready to find its forever home. Mark put up flyers all around town and even posted about it on social media platforms. One day, just as he was starting to lose hope, a woman named Sarah reached out saying that she wanted to adopt the cat. Mark was overjoyed to hear this news. He had waited so long for Patches to find a loving home, and now it seemed like all that hard work would pay off. When Sarah arrived at his house, she instantly fell in love with Patches and they quickly hit it off. Mark could tell that Sarah was the perfect person to take care of his furry friend, so he handed over Patches' leash and collar and watched as they walked away together. It was hard to say goodbye, but knowing that Patches was going to be well taken care of made it easier. Sarah promised to keep in touch and send him pictures and videos of Patches' new life. And true to her word, she kept him updated on all the fun activities they did together. She shared stories of how Patches had adjusted well to its new home, how it loved playing with toys, and most importantly, how much it enjoyed being a part of their family. As the weeks went by, Mark saw how happy Patches was in its new environment, which filled him with joy. But he couldn't help but wonder what happened to the abandoned kitten that started it all. What led it to be left out on the streets in the first place? The answer to this question came when Sarah contacted him excitedly one day. Patches had given birth to 4 adorable kittens, and guess what? All 4 of them were boys, just like their father. Sarah wanted to know if Mark would be interested in adopting one of the kittens, which made him smile. Of course he would. He had fallen in love with Patches the moment he laid eyes on it, and now he couldn't wait to meet the next generation of the family. When Mark first held the tiny kitten in his hands, he felt an overwhelming sense of responsibility. It was so fragile and dependent on him, and he knew he had to do everything he could to ensure its health and happiness. He fed it, played with it, and most importantly, gave it lots of love and attention. As the kitten grew older, it became more playful and affectionate, just like its mother. Mark could already tell that it was going to be a wonderful addition to his home. Mark decided to name the kitten Lucky, because he felt that it had already experienced so much hardship in its short life. Now it deserved all the good fortune that came with having a loving owner. Every day that went by, Lucky became stronger, more curious, and more independent. Mark watched as it explored its surroundings, chased toys, and learned about the world around it. He knew that he had made the right decision by adopting it. Not only did Lucky bring joy to his life, but it also taught him valuable lessons about patience, compassion, and unconditional love. One day, while playing with Lucky, Mark noticed something unusual. The kitten seemed to be staring at him intently, almost as if it understood what he was saying. At first, he thought it was just a phase that would pass, but as time went on, he realized that Lucky was actually smarter than most cats he had ever met before. For example, it would come when Mark called its name and would sit patiently when told to do so. It also seemed to know basic commands like stay and come. Mark couldn't believe how intelligent his furry friend was. He wondered if maybe it had learned these tricks from its mother, out on the streets. Whatever the reason, he was thrilled to have such a smart and obedient cat. As the months went by, Lucky grew into a beautiful young cat. Its fur was sleek and shiny, and its eyes sparkled with mischief. It was no longer the helpless kitten that Mark had agreed to adopt from Sarah, but it still had the same playful and affectionate personality like his mother, Patches. He loved watching Lucky interact with other animals in the house. It got along well with dogs, birds, and even horses. No matter what, Mark knew that he had done the right thing by rescuing Lucky's mother. It had become an integral part of his family, bringing joy and laughter to every member. One evening, as Mark was sitting on the couch with Lucky curled up on his lap, he couldn't help but think about the fragile condition of Patches on that fateful day in the garage. He had not only saved a cat's life, but had gained a loyal and loving companion in return. Looking into Lucky's bright green eyes, Mark saw nothing but adoration and gratitude. In that moment, he realized that their bond was unbreakable, and that he wouldn't trade it for the world. If you're anything like us here at our channel, you can't resist those adorable cat videos. So don't forget to check out more content for a daily dose of feline fun. And if you've been inspired by Mark's story, consider supporting local animal shelters and rescue organizations in your community. You never know when you might find your new best friend waiting for you. This is Heartbeam. We bring you pet stories that touch the soul. Subscribe for more gentle journeys every day.